I'm Felina.
And I'm Summer.
And you are listening to Broken Broken.
Because we're both.
The podcast about living your best life by getting real.
Hey, broken people. This is Summer.
And this is Felina.
And today we have a special guest whose name is Buck. This is actually our first listener who actually contacted us and requested to be on the show.
Oh.
So this will be interesting. And we have Carrie, actually, who's been a guest before. She's actually on location to set things up with him. So let's give her a call.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, me and Buck are both here.
Okay, and me and
Hey,
Felina.
Carrie.
We're both here as well. All right, so, Buck, do you have anything that you want to tell the audience about yourself before we dive into the interrogation about your life?
Yeah, please tell us your name and just give us some fact background about yourself.
Alrighty. First off, I guess, I'm a super random person. Have actually done a lot of stuff in my short span of life, I guess you can say. From a small town in Antlers, Oklahoma, to big city in Dallas, to the small town, college town of Ada, and then back to Oklahoma City. Currently, I'm a server at a couple of local places here in Oklahoma City. And besides that, I just try to live my bachelor life up to the fullest.
So Carrie told me that you're willing to talk about anything. Is that true before I jump in here?
Yeah, I'm a pretty open book.
Okay.
I'm not shy.
Okay, because I want to jump in. I want to talk about the sex, drugs, and rock and roll of it all here. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, wait, first, I want to ask...
There has been a few of that here and there.
Always the best, right?
Well, before we do that, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
So what, you said you were a listener and you wanted to share with us. What episode or what did you listen to that prompted you to want to talk with us today?
It was actually Carrie. She was telling me a little bit about y'all. She was showing me some videos she done. My personal favorite was the tentacle porn.
Episode 5. It's the favorite.
Even I myself kind of learned a thing or two about
Impressive.
that little episode. That was a fun one.
It was a lot of fun. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So, what I wanted to ask you about was sex work. Because we've talked about this a little bit on the show, but we haven't had a whole lot of people willing to talk too much about it. I've done a little bit, but I can't talk too much about it because of custody litigations. So I understand you've had sugar daddy arrangements. Is that correct?
Yes.
How did you get into that?
Definitely. What was that? I'm sorry.
How did you get into that?
It actually just kind of happened. It was when I was living in Dallas. I was 19. I really didn't get a sugar dad until I was probably about 20.
Mm-hmm.
But during that time, I was a dancer working at a place called BJ's. And it was kind of one of those things, a mutual friend who happened to be a sugar dad just kind of became my sugar daddy.
Okay.
But it was a fun time for what it was worth.
Right.
Got some things paid for. Got to live in a very nice home. And I got a trip to Hawaii from it for 2 weeks.
Oh, can't complain about
But
that.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Suddenly I feel like I need to look for a sugar daddy.
I feel like I've been living my life all wrong.
Clearly I have. So have you done any other sex work besides that, or just the sugar daddy arrangements?
Pretty much just the sugar dad arrangement, and besides being a dancer and all that, what it entails, that's pretty much all on that side of the road that I've kind of dealt with.
How long were you a dancer?
I was a dancer for probably about 3 years.
Did you enjoy that, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. During the time, I was doing a little bit of modeling, and so it really helped me love and respect my body. You know, it opened up a whole new side of me that I didn't know I had. It helped me even connect more with just strangers, and so it made me more kind of be able to approach people that I never would have before, and kind of stir, you know, the conversation how it would like, you know, or, you know, kind of open more up sexually than I had in the past.
So what do the folks back home think about that? I'm from right down the road from Antlers, so I that's why I asked that.
Well, I've always been a very flirtatious person. Everyone's always known that about me. I've always been one of those that I wouldn't even have to tell anyone anything, and they automatically have always kind of or assumed that I've always been kind of a more sexually active person. I know kind of later on in life when I kind of brought it up to my mom, she kind of just laughed, like it really didn't phase her. She's just like, I can see you doing that.
Thanks, Mom.
Right. You know me too well, Mom.
Oh my God.
Little mama's boy.
I feel like I want to meet your mom now.
I know. I like it. Is she pretty open-minded and always been accepting of you?
Oh, for sure. She's always been very accepting. I mean, of course, she's, you know, very moral-driven, you know. She'll put the fear of God in you, but she's also been super cool, loves to dance. We took her out for her birthday not too long ago, and we went to that club here in the city called Groovies, and we just literally just danced our asses off the whole night. She got a little too turnty, but she had a blast. Like, I love going out with her. Like,
that's awesome.
We've always had a blast.
So was it hard? You said you told her later, like a little bit after the fact. Was it hard to decide to open up to her like that?
It was a little bit. I mean, like she knew some of the things I was doing down in Dallas, you know, but kind of opening up and being like, hey, you know, not only because I worked as a physical therapist tech down there, and so, you know, not only Mom, you know, am I helping, you know, people, but I'm also helping people in other ways. She was just kind of like, oh no.
Like, oh no, what does that mean? You know, that's one thing I say about my kids. I'm open with my kids, and so they know they can tell me anything. So then they do, and sometimes I'm like, maybe I did this wrong because I didn't want to know that.
I have some secrets.
Right, I'm like, you really don't have to tell me everything. Like, I don't need to know about you, you know, snorting Adderall at school. Like, please don't tell me that.
It's like, don't go into that detail.
Right, like, I don't need to know all the details. Just leave some things to the imagination. Oh, I don't say that.
Oh, it's crazy, though. Kids are so open these days. Like, my little cousins, they'll just tell me everything, and I'm just like, you're what? we were just playing Pokemon cards during that time. Jesus gracious.
Do you think that's good, that they're more open?
I do. I think we're seeing a huge kind of shift, you know? I mean, heck, I guess, like, looking at things, you know, even our parents did when they were younger, you know, like, we did 10 times, you know, things worse, you know, than they did. So I think it's just kind of just a slow, you know, just process of things becoming more accepting than, you know, when we were younger.
Okay.
And I think it's going to kind of go, you know, steadily more that way. But there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, as long as, you know, people know who they are and being safe, I guess.
I feel like I probably would have been a lot safer if I hadn't had to hide everything I was doing.
Right, me too.
I feel like I ended up in a lot more dangerous situations because I was having to hide things.
Well, I didn't have anybody to talk to me openly. I mean, my mom was a nurse, and she like made sure that I knew like technically how everything worked. Like, I remember when we had like they split up the boys and the girls in like 4th or 5th grade, and they watched the movies, and like afterwards they quizzed us, and they're like, "Who can tell us the name of the female hormone?" And I'm like in the front row, like waving my hand. I'm like, "Estrogen, I know." Like I knew all of the like technical stuff,
Right.
but like she never talked to me about the emotional ramifications of sex, or like setting boundaries, or like respecting yourself, or the need for male attention, and just any of that. Like I never got talked to about any of that. And then my dad, like once I like grew boobs, he stopped talking to me, and so I just like hid everything from him.
Oh,
like I was
no.
just it was just a big secret. Like he didn't know who I was for several
wow.
years. So yeah, but I say all that to say I agree with Summer that I wish I would have been able to be more open with my mom. I could talk to her about it, but like the first time she found out I had sex, she asked me how it was. And I was 16.
She probably didn't know what else to say.
Oh.
I'm like,
Okay,
I really
Mom.
needed some momming. I didn't need her to be my buddy. So, yeah.
How
Anyway.
was it?
She could have asked me that in my 30s, but not when I was 16,
That is not a question that even entered my mind
Yeah.
when my kids started having
Yeah,
sex.
my mother, she didn't know how to mom, though. Like, she was just, like, going to be my
spiritual
friend.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, my
that's
God.
what you should have said.
Yeah, she was kind of out there.
How was it? Oh, it's funny.
No, I definitely see that though. I've always been kind of open with my mom, not necessarily sexually wise, but like if I was ever going to a party or something, I would always let her know. I mean, because that's the only thing she truly wanted, was just to know where I was at.
Right.
If something would go bad, she could. And that way, I got to do a lot more than other kids. There wasn't really sneaking out or anything. It was more kind of like, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to so-and-so's house. I may die in a pasture. I don't know. But here's the location.
Right.
Please come help me."
If I'm not back by tomorrow, send help.
Right. Yeah, that's always been my thing. Like, I need to know where you are.
Yeah. I imagine
That's been my
that
biggest
And it's fair,
Yeah, I imagine that will be my thing with my kid.
That's been my biggest fight with my second oldest. He's 16 now, but that was my biggest fight. When he was like 14 and 15, he's the one who was snorting Adderall at school.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
He said I could focus for the first time on my schoolwork. I said, well, I would get you a prescription if I knew you wouldn't sell them at school.
Little delinquent.
Yes, he's off probation now, so we're good.
Good.
But
Oh, yeah.
but that's been my biggest fight with him is I need to know where you are. Like, I don't need all the details of what you're doing. I just need to know you're not dead or in jail.
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom has definitely had those calls.
Oh no! You have to call your mom to get you out of jail.
Denton County is calling.
What were you in Denton County for?
Oh, nothing. Yes, that's right. Nothing good.
Nothing good.
It ended up being a lot of money
Oh,
for
no.
not so much fun at the time.
Yeah, those charges are never fun, are they?
Let's just say Bucky Boy liked to get drunk at hookah bars.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a little fun time in my life.
He says that like he's so old. You're still in your 20s, right?
No, I guess I'm one of those old souls. I'm actually about to be 29
Ooh.
on May 9th, this coming
Oh.
week.
Well,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Yes, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Any big
We're gonna-
plans?
To
Not
hopefully
so
not
far.
get
I
arrested.
mean, I'm one of those, I'm just like, I'm not going to do anything for my birthday, and then I'll wake up on the 10th with a massive hangover, and I don't know where I'm at. How did this happen?
It must have been a great birthday.
Right? I thought we were only going to go out for one beer. What did you do?
Never happens like that.
Wow.
That's one thing they did not tell you about getting older is your hangovers last about 3 days.
Oh, it just
You're
gets
the
worse from here. I hate to
constant
tell
Oh,
fog.
Yeah, you wait till you get our age.
you. Yeah. I just turned 38. I can now get a hangover from staying up too late. I don't even need alcohol involved.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
So,
That's totally true.
not to paint a bleak picture of the future for you, but
This is your future. This is your life.
I just need to know where to get these IV bags from. Like my friend, he has like a IV bag that he hooked himself up to, and then he's just like perfect gold the next hour, and I'm just like, look me up, please.
yeah, I had friends who were medics, and that's what they would do. They would just take some fluids off the ambulance and hook them up and get rid of their
Those lucky
hangover.
souls.
Yeah. I know you can go. There's a place called Skin Lab in Norman. I think there's one in Oklahoma City too, and they do like a vitamin like IV bag that like replenishes you.
Oh, they'll do them there?
Yeah, but they're
I didn't
kind of
know that.
pricey. I think they're kind of pricey, but they do them there. So how badly?
And you know, it's funny. My friend, my roommate, she loves pickles, and so I'm one of those people that the classic cure for any hangover is pickle juice.
Ew.
And so he'll get so angry at me that he'll have all these empty pickle jars of just pickles with no juice. And he's like, Buck, stop drinking my pickle juice. And I'm just like, hey, no, I need this.
Dude, it works.
You know, you can get those, like the popsicles that come in the plastic sleeves? You can get them with that's pickle juice. And so you can freeze your
What?
picklecicles. Yes.
Picklecicles.
Yes.
Oh.
And then you can use that for your hangover. You just walk around, suck all that in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
Where have I been?
I know, I need some
And it's something I'll even
picklecicles.
go to gas stations now and just start looking at all this stuff and just feel like, man, have I actually ever just stopped and just looked at all what gas stations have to offer? Like, it blows my mind every time. It's like walking into Narnia. And
Into
Mr.
Narnia.
Comes out of nowhere. Me be like, the fuck?
I feel like we need Buck to call us with his high thoughts one day when he's just like
High thoughts with Buck.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like deep thoughts
Oh.
with Jack Handy. But
Yes.
High thoughts with Buck.
I think it would be great.
I like it. Just call and leave us voicemails
Yeah.
with your high thoughts when you're at the convenience store in Narnia.
In Narnia.
Looking around. Just leave us voicemails with your introspective thoughts, and we'll share them online.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah. I like it.
Oh, you'll say that now, so it's like a 2-hour-long voicemail.
Even better.
That would make my day. I would just
Yeah,
sit there
I would
and
love
listen
it.
to this.
You'll get cut off. You can call back and just keep
It'll
going.
be
It's fine.
It'll be fun.
That actually makes me think. One time in college, and he replayed it for me later. Somehow just ended up at a trailer house in the middle of nowhere. It's just me and this voicemail just being like, I don't know where I'm at. And there's no street signs. And I'm at a trailer house.
Just randomly. Like you do.
Like you do,
Walk into
I'm
a
like,
random
no
trailer
one's
house.
waking up. I don't know who these people are.
Were there
But-
people there?
like Mary just said, that kind of does happen to me a lot.
Oh no. Is this a trend, Buck? Just in strange
Like
houses.
people just like to, just drinking till, he just wakes up the next day in a stranger's home.
Oh Lord.
Makes friends when he drinks and then doesn't remember the friend's name.
Oh, well,
Oh,
I think we've all
if
been
only I
that a
could
time or
remember
two.
all the people I met when I was drunk. I would be a popular person.
Are you a life of the party when you're drunk?
Yes.
Yes.
Carrie says yes.
Carrie says yes.
Maybe just a little. I mean. Oh, maybe I like to go on excursions with my newfound friends.
Ah.
and leave my old friends at the bar.
That's what we do when we go out. When we go out with a group of people, we just leave them and then wind up in an alleyway somewhere, drunk as fuck, and
Oh,
hang
dear.
out. We go where we are either. Never.
You know, and it's funny because we will try to go out with other people. You know, we just like, we make these huge plans of going out with other people, and then we just ditch them like the first 15 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
And they're just like, fucking Carrie, where are you? And we're already wasted. And we're like, we don't know, but it's an adventure.
It's an adventure.
Every time.
Oh goodness.
Oh, well, you know.
Birdtown didn't know it was hitting on.
That was a wild ride.
Those are usually the best nights, like when you don't end up at all
Oh,
where
yeah.
you planned from the beginning.
Right. I usually just don't even
Yeah.
have a plan anymore. I'm like, I'm going to start here and we'll see what happens.
I like to do the no plan when I go out. I like to not be tied to too many obligations because I will Irish exit.
What does that mean?
The Irish exit
I don't
where
know
you
what that
just
means.
like you're like I'm gonna go to the bathroom, or like you just don't say anything and you just wander off and you just leave. Like
Oh, I do that all the time.
yeah, I do that.
I'm sure it drives people crazy because I just think,
I love that you do it. You've done it to me, and I'm just
I'm
like,
sorry.
cool, summer's gone. I don't even think twice about it because you live
I
your
did
life.
it to you the other night at the music festival. I just
didn't
wandered
care.
off.
I didn't care at all. I don't think twice about it when people do it. I usually am like applauding, like, yes, you get it. That's how I live my life.
I do it to dates
Oh,
sometimes
love
too. Like I'll leave and then I'll text them later. Sorry, I had to go. I didn't want to wake you up. But I'm not going to sleep
That's
there all
a different
night.
kind of exit.
They're all watching your Snapchat.
That's called the
You're
walk
just
of shame,
partying
sorry.
hard.
But there's no
Wow.
shame. Some of them have been around for years, and they're finally used to it. And I don't have to text them
The
anymore.
walk of no shame.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, buddy, I'm not sleeping here. Bye.
Hasta luego. I owe you no explanation.
But see, that's all my friends, all of them. There's not one of them that are just like, fuck, will just show up when he shows up.
So they just know now,
He'll
right?
come when the time is right.
I like it.
Oh, definitely spring break. Oh, goodness. This was actually the first year since 2012 that I haven't been on spring break. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Does that mean you're officially an adult?
Yeah. I mean, don't
I'm
get me
so
wrong.
sorry.
I wanted to go. It was just, I couldn't take off.
Right.
No one told you once you get older you can't take off weeks at a time to almost die of alcohol poisoning.
I know, I'm really upset about that too. Like, I really want to just be able to take off a week or two at a time.
I need to be able to take a week or two off at a time.
Right?
Ugh.
And it's just like, until you get to that moment where you're just like, guys, I may have to go to the hospital. It's just like, you paid this much money, you know, to get that wasting.
Okay, so I think now I feel like we should start a GoFundMe to get a scan of his liver because I'm really interested in what it looks like.
You know,
He's
my
got another
sister
good 10
threatens
years.
me all the time. She's just like, I'm not giving you any part of my liver. And I'm just like, geez, thanks. Right? I'm just like, hey, you need to support my alcoholism.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
No,
you know.
this old liver of a guy, it's been going for a while. I think it's one of those indestructible ones by now.
Bionic liver.
Yeah.
Made out of iron. I feel sorry for the guy sometimes. I'm just like, how do you handle that much?
Right? Like, how am I not dead yet? Do you ever wake up and think that? How am I not dead yet?
Yes. I've
Yeah.
done a few questionable
Every
things.
day.
Yes.
I have done a few questionable things.
What
Like,
have you
take-
done, Felina? Please tell us.
Well, like I took mushrooms at the what is it called? It was in Estes Park
Okay.
in Colorado. Like we had driven up the mountain, and we thought that we would have plenty of time to trip and then drive back down.
But it never works that way.
But it never works that way, and we shouldn't have taken the mushrooms and had, like, driving down the mountain when you're in Estes Park, like, it is fucking terrifying. like the wheels of your vehicle are
Power of
within
the mushroom.
inches of the side, and like,
Oh my God.
Tell
and
you
it
what.
just kept getting later and later. We were still tripping, and it was starting to get dark, and we're like freaking the fuck out. You know, we needed to get the fuck out of there. And finally, like, this truck was there, and I was like, follow that truck. At least we won't be alone. And so my dumbass
We'll
ex-boyfriend...
die together. It's
Put on
fine.
Yeah.
some cabin in the woods.
Yeah, and like the real fear was falling off the side of the
Wait,
fucking
that's
mountain.
scary.
It
I've seen pictures. I haven't been there.
terrifying.
Wow.
And then, like, by the time we get to town, like, we make it down the mountain, and now we're just, like, concerned about, like, where are we gonna fucking sleep? Like, we're in the middle of traffic, we're tripping. It was so bad. And when we finally, like, we ended up finding this hotel that looked like, I mean, there were sex workers in front of it, and, like, there was a man, like, a toothless man whittling wood, and, like, it was just questionable.
do.
Like, it was just...
I might have been there. You never know.
That man was probably Buck. Just sitting there with his wood. It's fine.
It was like, I mean, the top floor, like, teetered. Like, it wasn't even level.
What?
And, like, the wallpaper was peeling, and it was so shady.
Did
but,
it
like,
occur to you to just sleep in the car?
it was safer to be in there.
No?
Like, no, we needed to, I was, like, on the verge of, like, dying, because we also didn't have enough provisions, so we didn't have water, we didn't have, like, and we were freezing fucking
It's that
cold.
no plan, right?
It was the no plan, really biting us in the ass. Should not have taken the mushrooms while on the mountain and having to drive back down. Worst decision of my life. Really thought I was going to die, and yeah. So... yeah,
But hey, there are magical parts, though. I mean, shrooms will just take you on just a little adventure. You just never know if that little joyride's going to be a fun one or if it's going to be a terrifying, where the hell, like you said.
Well, it would have been easy.
What's happening?
It would have been really easy to avoid the terrifying factor and just not have taken the mushrooms on the mountain. Like, we could
You
have
took
just...
them when you got down.
Yeah, we just needed to get down, and then we could have taken them. But no.
That planning, not so
No,
much.
we're just like, well, it'll only last about 4 hours. Negative. It was like,
Oh, no.
well, usually that's
It's an
how, like,
all-day thing.
based on how much I usually take, you know, like, I was like, oh, it'll be fine, you know. We'll peak around 2 hours, we'll be coming down, it's fine.
Not so much.
No, not so much.
But you always have that one person, though, that's, like, on your level, though. Like, that's on your same of, like, highness and whatnot. And y'all are seeing the same shit. Y'all are following the same rabbit. And it's just, like, I have a really good friend. We went to it was Elephant, actually, right by the Tahlequah River. And we decided to take shrooms. It was us in a group. And I just remember him going, do you want to go on a vacation or do you want to go on a real vacation? And of course we're just like, oh, the real vacation, duh. No, we definitely went. It was, I guess, well, it was just like, you know how in Harry Potter, how, you know, the pictures move, you know, and stuff? Well, there was this photographer that had all her works, you know, out, and I was just like looking at the pictures, and they were all moving like I was watching TV. And
Dude,
I was just
I
like,
know exactly what you're talking about.
like, are your pictures 3D? And she was just like, nah, man, they're not 3D. And I was just like,
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. The very first time I ever tripped, I was with like four of my best dude friends, and we were hanging out. There's this big fucking Rolling Stones poster on the wall with Keith Richards, and like he was smiling. Yeah, and like the very first time I ever experienced any sort of visuals from tripping, this is my first time I ever tripped, I see Keith Richards' smile get real big, like it starts growing. On the poster, I was like, what the fuck is happening? And they were like, welcome to the world of psychedelics.
The smiles get creepy. Like, there was this dude that was hanging with us, and his smile just looked like the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah,
so I think at the point, every time he would walk around, I would just run away from him. He would just be like, fuck, I'd be like, don't look at me!
Don't look at me, please.
You and your Chester cat smile
Right?
creep me out. You.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like talking about tripping. Makes me want to trip.
But even, those, everyone has that one uncle, the burnout uncle, and they have, those trippy posters, that you see, really, your stoner uncle has them all over, the house, and you're just like, who the fuck has these posters? Until you are tripping balls, then you realize the goriness of the trippy posters of, the 80s. It was just
Then you understand.
whole new ball game. Let's just say you'll get lost in a poster for 2 hours.
Oh yeah. No, give me some carpet with some interesting print. I'll just stare at the carpet. It's fine. No, the best.
And don't watch YouTube. You will go down this YouTube hole. Oh goodness.
No, one time I tripped and I was just it was a super clear night and I just laid in the backyard on a blanket and stared at the stars. And you can see the
that sounds beautiful.
stars moving. That's the best. I love just staring at the stars. Ugh. Damn it, it's summer. I think it's about time. I think I might need to make this happen soon. Hey, Buck, wanna hang out?
We need a second
Let's do it.
episode.
We're
That's
gonna have a
YouTube
second
tripping.
episode.
I have a guy.
That would be amazing.
Let's talk later offline.
He can get us whatever.
I am liking this conversation. This is my summertime.
He might actually own the black market. I'm not for sure at this point. He's one of those, you go over to his house and he has some off the wall, probably real absinthe. And he's just like, hey, you want to try some of this? And it's just like, where did you get this and how did you get it here?
You don't want to know. Don't ask questions.
Don't ask.
Oh man.
I like it. Well, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Any juicy, good stories you want to
Share with the world?
Share with the world.
Oh goodness. I don't know if they're ready for my...
Tell them.
They don't have to be ready. They don't have to be ready. Tell them.
Tell
anyway.
them. Oh.
I heard all the stories. I know they're good.
Oh man. They're all hitting, but then it's just do I really want to go down this road? Well, knowing about something about me, I went from being straight to bisexual, and now I'm doing my gay thing. And so there's been a lot of lovers. There's been a lot of different lovers.
Mm-hmm.
There's been lovers that I actually didn't want to have. But there they are. And that little black book that we all carry in our back pocket. But
Burned mine.
everyone has that little black book. Come on now.
It's in my
It's
mind.
just that was the worst sex ever. I have that black book. I mainly just have it just to keep up with my numbers. It's just...
Man, I gave up on that long ago.
I don't even count.
No.
It would take a couple hours on the phone with my best friend because she remembers a lot more about my life than I do. And
I
try to make a list. It would take forever.
I think there are some I literally blocked out of my memory. I never wrote it down.
I pretend they don't exist.
I never I was so mortified by my usually drunken decision that I just blocked it out completely, and it's as if it never happened. And it's been so long since that real slutty phase of my life that I don't even remember. I literally can't remember. Is that
Right.
terrible?
No, it's not terrible. Well, I think
Let's
the
go down
older you get, the more that
worst
happens.
sex we've ever had.
What now?
Because let's go down the worst sex we've ever had.
Oh.
Because for some reason here's this last year, and it's been some shitty sex. I don't know if that just happens when you're 28 or...
God, I can't. I've had too much bad sex.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
that's so sad.
there's a competition for worst.
Oh God.
Yeah. Also, I've had some pretty good sex too, don't get me wrong. Although I just can't remember what it's like because it's been too long.
Oh no.
It's been a while.
How long is a while?
Well, it's just like this year, for instance.
Like a year?
I'm at, I decided to spend, I usually go down to Dallas for the New Year's, but I decided to stay here in Oklahoma City. And I'm all, at the gay club, getting turned as fuck, having a great time. This awesome hot guy, Rich, comes up to me. And of course, like in the gay world, you just look at each other and then it's just like you make out instantly. There's no talking. You don't talk in the gay world.
I wish it was
just,
that way
you look at
everywhere
each
because I
other
don't want to have a conversation with them.
I'm with you.
But he was just like, yeah, you can come to my place. So we go to his place, and then and I'm drunk, and honestly, I'm just kind of looking for a bed at this point. And we roll up to this old boy's house, and it turns out to be his grandma's house. And so he's living with his grandma, and she's in the back room, and he's just like, oh, we kind of have to be quiet or whatever. And in my head, I'm just like, oh fuck, this is already too much. Does grandma have food? Does she have good food? So I'm just like rummaging through, this grandmother's home for food before, this, because I'm a muncher. I'm just like, hey, let's hurry and eat some chips before this goes down, because I'm hungry. I'm drunk. And so,
Carve up.
and so, we get some food, and we're, we're doing, some like dry rub action and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then we really start getting into it. And before I know, he just comes on my chest. And this is like going 4 minutes into it. No, actually just dry humping. And I'm just frozen there at this point. I'm just like, the fuck just happened?
Right.
And then he goes, and I'm ready just to, at this point, just call it fucking Uber. And he's just like, no. Just lay there. He's like, I'm a gentleman. Let me go get a rag.
Oh,
and then I'm just like, did he really just say this to me? At this point, I don't care if you're a fucking gentleman or the nicest person in the world. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be here.
all one of my old boo things. At least have some decent sex, but yeah, I've never had someone just pause me and be like, "I'm a gentleman." Yeah.
Oh man.
It was not the greatest.
I've never had anyone take me to grandma's house though.
That's pretty good.
Now when I
get a nice house, if he did have good mushy food.
Have you ever had it where the guy doesn't tell you that he doesn't actually have a house? Like you find out later that he just is living out of a hotel. Like you go out on a date and I've had that happen.
I have had I had one where I was out with them and then he finally had to admit he didn't have a place.
That's
you know what I'm talking
what
about.
he did to me. This guy did to me.
Which was fine. We went and got a room. But I'm like, why didn't you tell me this in the first place? We would have made different plans.
And I didn't even care so much as that when and he was paying for everything and being Mr. Suave, and he was all right, but I got drunk and I was just like, whatever, And so we go back to his hotel, but he had the tiniest micro peen ever.
Oh.
It was so, I was
see, this was the big guy from episode 5 that he was talking about. So it was worth paying for the room.
He had the room.
I thank God every day for blessing me with my penis.
And not having a micro penis?
Because I didn't realize how many, until, I started the whole gay adventure, I really didn't know actually how many small penises there was out there in the world.
It doesn't
matter how they look. Carrie cuts down them.
Poor Carrie, she's had a
couple. But no, they're out there. They're out there, and there's a lot of them. I was just like, man, I thought, me, and my 8-incher, was, average. No,
it's way above average.
Yeah, but that's, Can
I just say the phrase, the great gay adventure is my new favorite phrase.
The great gay adventure. I keep having this micro-peen conversation with my lady friends lately. It's just so... and, like, if you're going to have a micro-peen, it's fine. I'm sorry. I'm talking about it right now. I know you can't help it. It is how you were made. That's fine. You need to learn some other skills.
Right, but get some skills.
No.
Like, learn some other
Yes,
things.
we might leave you at the bar, but, I mean...
And don't be misleading.
no one has time for that. No one has time.
Well, everyone deserves love, even men with micro-peens.
I know it sounds horrible. I know it. And I'm sorry.
Buck is not.
I'm just saying, learn
interested.
some other skills, man. Like, like at least like learn how to go down on me. Learn how to like have a toy ready. Like
Right.
just
Yeah, your head game
overcompensate.
better be strong. As
Yeah,
hell.
like you need to make up for it. Like if that's your lot in life, I'm really sorry. But like you need to learn some other skills to offset that
Right. So
unfortunate.
choose your partner.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's an important
foreplay
part
is
of this.
my actual favorite part of sex. And so if you don't even know how to, foreplay, then even if the sex is good, like, foreplay is my favorite part of sex.
Okay, so
I mean,
that is
I
a
am like fucking
problem
this
that
dude.
we have with a lot of straight guys is they don't do foreplay or even know what the hell to do. Is that a problem with gay guys too?
Kind of. I mean, I guess it's just kind of the same, as the straight world. I mean, even in the straight world, it's just like, I've always been, if you're going to go down on me, I'm going to go down on you. But just the art of just teasing. I feel like people don't even know the art of teasing
Yes.
people anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
They all just
the
wanna
women
just-
I've been with know, like they got it, they're good. But the men, yeah, most of them know. They don't have a clue.
Honestly, I don't put any effort into it if I'm not actually into the guy. So,
She's just like, lay down, we're gonna get this done.
yeah, I kind of am. Yeah, it's true.
Nice.
But,
I see you.
yeah, well, I mean,
Now you know, guys.
I've kind of got to, we've had this conversation before about,
I'm just going to start calling you Janet.
I mean, I said this on an episode or two ago. I can't remember how long ago, but basically, like if I fuck you right away, I am not interested in you. If I fucked you, you've been friend zoned. If I don't fuck you right away, then there's some
she
potential.
wants to date.
Yeah, we might date. But like if I fuck you right away, you've been friend zoned. So that's kind of how I work.
It's funny. I
And,
like it.
and I'll put some effort into somebody who I don't fuck right away. Like if I'm interested in them, we'll have some foreplay. I'm such a dude.
That's so funny.
Whatever.
See how long it takes me to fuck them
I
has
love
no
it.
correlation at all. Actually, if I'm interested in them, I'm really probably gonna fuck them right away. Because if the sex isn't good, it's not worth me putting in the time.
That's also true. I will at least find out if they have a micropene.
I've never had to deal with a micropenis. Thank
What?
God.
Fuck you, Summer. Fuck you.
I've had some guys on the small side, but not quite
Micro.
that small. So I've been fortunate there. Now, last
I
year,
don't know what voodoo you're doing, but
I know, right?
Because even I've had to deal with a couple of micro penises.
Summer has the opposite problem.
You get all this.
he heard episode 5. He knows. I'm still waiting on that guy. I'm still waiting on that guy to hear that episode and text
the
me and be
German
like, "Hey."
That's funny.
Some of those are scary though.
It
Like,
was
being in the
terrifying.
gay world, it's not. You don't want
Baby arm.
Yeah, you don't want a baby arm coming.
Right? I
Yeah.
swear to God, when I saw it, I thought to myself, and thankfully, I was really drunk, so I don't know how I didn't say it out loud. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Like, it was...
And y'all tell me this, like usually it's like the guys with the huge giant slongs want to have the slowest sex. So in your head you're just like, oh, let's get this on with, let's tackle this. But no, it's just like they're the ones that like slow sex, and it's just like I don't
Yeah,
understand.
I didn't have that problem with him. But
Yeah.
I don't want to feel every inch of you.
I'm just like, it's just not, I can't take all of that. You're just going to have to accept it.
Oh boy.
You're gonna have to go into Power Ranger mode or something.
Oh
Now,
man.
I went out to DC.
Where's that turbo button?
Turbo, oh God. This is how I die. But I went out to DC to give a presentation last year, right? And this guy that I've known online for several years now, but we'd never met in person, he came down because he lives in a city up there, and he came down to see me. Now, he was talking about, just getting started, and the guy just comes. That's pretty much what he did. Like, do you remember this story?
Yes.
I think I texted you guys from DC. I'm like, what the fuck just happened here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, we're messing around, foreplay, all of this stuff, There was some manual stimulation. Then he just, like, jacks off on my stomach, and is like, no, I don't want to have sex because it might start something. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here?
So I'm gonna come on your stomach. Yeah,
Right.
I do remember you telling
I'm
us
like,
about
how
this.
do you do that?
So
But
weird. Men are so
but then
weird.
later, he texts me, like, way later. I guess he'd been thinking about it or whatever. He's like, I was thinking about that, and I wish I'd have had more time with you. So
That time I came on your side. And
right? He's like, I was thinking about it, and I wish we'd have had more time so we really could have, we could have fucked. And I'm like, dude, you had all night, and you didn't do it. So I don't know what you're telling me this for.
Weirdo. But, he regrets
Dude,
not
that's why you have
fucking
to
you,
get
so
the
that's
dinner
good
out
for
of
you.
it. I've reached to the point where I'm just like, we got to have dinner. Because, like, if the sex sucks, at least, he bought you, the most expensive, dish on the menu.
Oh, that's
Like-
true. But it also means I have to have a conversation with him during dinner.
Listen,
No, it just gets wrong. That's what I do. I'm just
That's
like,
what I'm
I
doing
run
wrong.
the tab up, and they're just like,
What?
holy
He said,
fuck,
don't
who
talk to
is
him,
this
just get drunk.
monster?
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing wrong. I am supposed to get drunk during
I would
dinner.
literally rather eat dry ramen noodles than have and not have to talk to somebody than have, like, the nicest fucking $50 steak and wine bought for me and have to have a conversation or be in the presence of someone who I don't want to be around. Like,
Right.
my time is just so much more valuable than anything.
See, this
That
is
I
why.
have so little tolerance.
Yeah.
Again, this is why I'm single.
Same.
Because I'm just like,
This is why I prefer fucking my friends. Because I can hang out with them and have conversations. New people, I'm just like,
Right.
I have so little energy for anyone else.
why does anybody put up with me? I need y'all to tell me this.
No one puts up with me, at least not men. So.
I know there has to be at least one person that is my friend that's listening to this. Go ahead and tell me why the fuck you put up with me.
Hey,
Yeah.
we are diamonds in the rough.
I'm not really, I'm just mean. I feel like I've just gotten meaner. It's bluntness, it's honesty.
Right?
But
I mean, I don't think I'm mean, but...
it comes across as mean that when I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to be around you anymore, and I just get up and leave. Like, I've literally done that during a Tinder date, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here anymore.
I
I'm
wish
sorry.
I could do that. I'm not as good.
I just get up and leave. I don't care. Like,
I'll get up and, like, just disappear.
I don't want to waste anybody's time. Like, I'm sorry. And I say that. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just want to waste your time. Like, I just don't think this is going anywhere. And I'll get up and leave. Like,
See, I wish I could do that. I haven't been able to do that. I went on a Tinder date a couple years ago. And first of all, that little boy lied about his age because there's no fucking way. He was 28.
Oh, you're 28. Was it me? Did we go on a
It was
date?
not you. But he said he was 28. He was not. I don't believe he was even to his mid-20s yet. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. First of all, we had a conversation, and I told him, I don't like wine. So you know where he takes me for this date? A fucking wine tasting. 2 hours of goddamn wine after I said I don't like wine.
I would have left.
I should have. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, it was the most miserable evening. I'm literally texting another man while I'm sitting there because I'm that disinterested. But I couldn't make myself get up and leave.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me, Felita?
Nothing.
Oh, goodness.
There's nothing wrong with you.
I can just see all these women listening right now with a glass of wine being like, I want to go to a wine vineyard.
Well, you can call up this little boy because I'm sure he's still available.
Well-
Because he did not have any game at all.
I mean, I think that I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think we're just trained to be polite and not hurt people's feelings and not hurt men's egos.
And maybe that's what it was. Because he was really trying hard and he was
Well,
trying to be sweet.
You can.
And I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but I'm like,
Well,
and I
fuck
told
that,
him, I'm
though.
like, I told you, this is not what I like. Like,
no,
why are
but
we
that
doing
right
it?
there,
But
right
I
there.
couldn't make myself do what I needed to do.
No. Right there when you're like, I don't want to hurt his feelings. You were putting him before yourself.
Yes.
Fuck that.
How do I get, like, I know
Just
that in my
don't do
head.
it. Like, just don't put people
doing
before
it.
yourself anymore. Put yourself first. Especially when it's someone
for sure.
who you don't fucking owe them anything.
Right, I didn't know this guy.
Yeah, put yourself
I didn't
first.
even remember
You
his
just
name.
gotta remember to put yourself first. Put your own feelings before him.
I've got to get better at
got
that.
Well, definitely it's just like a hookup too, you know? Like, you can't, like, mix, like, and that's sometimes I have to remind myself, it's just like you were saying, it's just a hookup. Like, you don't owe that person anything.
Nope.
You don't have to, you know, like, I went from, I guess, like, I call it, like, my weird geisha stage, like, where, you know, like, I would go out on dates and, like, pour the tea a certain way and talk about, you know, all the topics, and then now I'm just kind of just like, yeah, this ain't working.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to get there.
Yeah.
I got to get better at that.
Yeah.
It will come.
Yeah.
You'll wake up one day and just be there.
Well, Buck, thank you so much for chatting with us. This is fun. We should have
Anytime.
you back.
We do. We
were
need
gonna
him
have you
back.
back. We'll have some wine.
Yes.
Summer can have something else.
As long as it's sweet, I can drink it. But yeah,
Well,
those
well-
dry wines were awful.
Well, you need to come over. You and Carrie both come over to my house next time. We'll do this in person, and we'll trip. Maybe we'll be on the no plan. We'll just have some
do some tarot card readings,
Yeah.
stare at the stars, get cross-faded,
It's
whatever.
just gonna be me laughing the whole time.
Oh,
Perfect.
that's
Like-
awesome.
Where are the burritos?
I've got a pool. We're about to open it up for the summer, so
Oh,
this
that'd be
summer's
fun.
podcasts are going to be all poolside.
Oh,
so,
that would be awesome.
yeah. So,
Yes.
all right.
I am down for this.
We'll have a poolside brunch and podcast sometime this summer.
That'll
and
be fun.
You'll have to come.
That sounds like the best day ever.
Awesome,
It really
Carrie.
does.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
You can contact the podcast at brokebrokenpodcast@gmail.com. The Broken Podcast can be found on Twitter at Broke Broken Show, on Instagram and Facebook at Broke Broken Podcast.